technical issues is lower than some of the others. Acting as a responsible citizen locally and globally. Now, what could be more relevant to sustainability from a global perspective than that? Wider core skills seem to be important, and again, this comes back to soft issues in terms of teamworking, communications, application of IT, problem solving, all linked into the sustainability agenda. All this data gives me great hope. It shows to me that people are actually understanding and are thinking of new ways. It comes back to that famous paper by David Orr back in the 1990s, where he stated that all the environmental and social political problems have been created by the most educated people in society. It's been created by the people with the PhDs, with the masters. So, if you want to change the world, the first thing you need to do is change education. And people are beginning to understand the need to adapt new ways of thinking and linking it all together. So, I was asked to think about what a sustainability literate student might be. What does this person look like? They'd all look different, because sustainability has got different relevance to different people's lives in different situations, in different countries, different economic criteria. But you could certainly see that a sustainability literate student would be somebody who recognises how sustainability is embedded throughout their curriculum, embedded throughout their learning, but not just in terms of the classroom, also in terms of extracurricular activities, all the different volunteering opportunities. Universities have been involved in sustainability for decades, without even realising it, without even communicating it. Think of all the voluntary work that takes place. Think of all the community outreach. Most universities have got wonderful programmes for this. So they're already engaging in sustainability activities as part of the extracurricular. But students aren't necessarily being told this. They're not necessarily communicating that to their employers, giving them that job edge. Understand the holistic nature of the environment. Understand the way everything links together in terms of the environment and society and the economy, and how it links in terms of local change driving global change, and how you can empower people, not by scaring them, making them think sustainability and environmental issues, political issues, social issues are too great to solve. Give people local examples, lead a little bit of local change to empower people. Understanding the campus and the community as a learning resource. When I'm doing recruitment for my environmental sciences course back at the University of Southampton, I frequently am met with a look of disappointment. Not just because I'm talking to the people, but because when I say to the students, you're not going to go on a field trip overseas, but I want to go on a field trip overseas. I want to explore the world. Yeah, if you want to explore the world, fine, do it in your own time, do it on a holiday. Can you really have an environmental sciences course, put a load of people on a plane, flying them halfway around the world to teach environmental field skills that you can learn in the United Kingdom? The university system in the UK has traditionally been all about big showy events. It shouldn't be about that. It should be about making the most of your campus. Changing the environmental footprint, changing the sustainability footprint of the campus through working in the campus rather than getting estates to do it. Getting students leading change. That's true education for sustainable development. Not making it a facilities function. So using the community as a learning space. Promoting positive change in the community. This is the way that people should understand the nature of local sustainability. Recognising the value and potential of collaborative work, as I've already spoken about. You need to be able to work together with different disciplines if you're going to come to sustainable solutions. Nobody can come to sustainable solutions on their own. It has to be collaborative. A sustainability literate student would recognise the employment opportunities for greener economy. So much investment is meant to be going into renewables, different ways of working. There are great opportunities there. Government should be leading this. Government did do some green economies, transition to a green economy document that came out. I know I'm going to be on film, but quite honestly, a bit of greenwashing in my personal opinion. In the HA, we will be producing a report in the next 2 or 3 weeks where we led a whole event all about looking at how universities can contribute to a greener economy. And these are the sort of issues that need to be led by universities. Universities are meant to be beacons of learning. They're meant to be providing the future thinkers for tomorrow. A sustainability literate student wants to be able to give something back. Doesn't want to just be somebody who's going to go and do a job where you get lots of money and you don't get a real sense of self-worth, unless, of course, you're purely driven by finances. So many students these days, you talk to them, they actually want to do something that's worthwhile for society. That is amazingly encouraging to hear. And one of the findings found from the survey was that I think it was something like over 70% of students were willing to take a £1,000 a year salary sacrifice to work for an ethically responsible company. All very positive thinking. Sustainable literacy student sees the opportunities and the positive nature of sustainability. Why are the gloom mongering? Yes, there are massive problems, but if you keep on beating people down, they don't get back up. You've got to make people believe they can change things. You've got to make people see the opportunities and the excitement around sustainability. It shouldn't just be this endless gloom surrounding it. It should ultimately be fun. Opportunities for self-development. Opportunities for developing your own skills. But also opportunities in terms of getting a worthwhile job. And the sort of things I'm talking about, shameless plug at the end in terms of the slide picture, but this is an example of a project that we ran in Southampton. We called it Blackout. Good example in terms of driven by students, because the students came up with the name Blackout. Basically, me and the environment manager had an idea. We wanted to do an energy audit, and he said, let's do an energy audit of building. I said, no, let's shut down the whole university and see what the carbon drop is. So we did it. And the way you can do that, and the way you can get that data, is by involving students, and not just involving students, and give them, you will do this, you will fill in this form, you will do this here, you will go and do this, blah, blah, blah. Make it a fun event, make it a social event. Utilise social media as much as possible. Try to get it exploded through Twitter and Facebook. Giving people free clothes that then has a continuous message. For example, they've all got their Blackout t-shirts and hoodies. You still see these everywhere at Southampton University. It's reinforcing the message. And then at the end of the day, we had 255 staff and students involved in this one big bang thing, where we went in, even buildings that were 15 stories high, we were in there, we turned everything off in every single office. And we looked at the savings. Now, that is just an example, because it's just a laugh, really. It was a bit of fun, but it had a positive message, and it had a positive impact on the university, because we have had a drop in energy consumption over weekends now to people turning things off. And also, it meant I got to fulfill a lifetime ambition. Not to turn everything off in university, but to place an order for 100 pizzas. And that went down really, really well with students, because it's something they enjoyed. So, my message really is sustainability, huge opportunities, make it something enjoyable. Change the way it's presented. Thank you for listening. Anybody got any questions?
Great song.
Definite silence.
They're thinking pieces.
Yeah, that's all
What
right.
I mean is, have students come up with how many of them have been from students' ideas and how many have you brought to the table?
It's a very good question. Blackout was initially the idea of myself and the environment manager, but we had a student committee as to how we thought we should run it. So we had student representation on the steering group, and then we had another student committee working again that did a lot of the lobbying, did all the social media, did all the recruitment, and came up with some of the methodologies. That was our idea, but within the example for Southampton, one of the schemes driven by the students, purely their own idea, they went and contacted the local council, and they now are eco-champions in the local council. They go out around the community, they find areas where there's been environmental damage, environmental vandalism, and they correct it. They go around doing litter picks. They do work with local community groups to try to help them in terms of cleaning up their environment to make it more positive community space. That's a huge praise the word as people for the students, because it's their idea. Another example was we've got a whole army of students who go and work in local schools around Southampton and the surrounding area, and they go in and they develop environmental and sustainability sessions for teachers, and they'll go in and lead them first of all, and then they give the materials over to the teachers as well. And that's something they come up with themselves. Certainly wasn't something that we pushed them to do at all. So there's little things like that. They also they've got their own conservation volunteering societies. They've also started doing guerrilla gardening as well, which is always great.
Did they tackle calls for residents? Southampton University's got many.
We have.
Glow at night.
They do grow at night next year. So we will be doing that because we want to cover all university buildings. Actually next year, I've got to get funding for this yet, but my idea for next year is UK University blackout. Roll out the model. And we're also doing blackout for the whole of Southampton City as well. We've got Southampton City Council.